Hey, there is again a rumor in this massive automobile industry. Two major names are joining forces once more. But will they be successful? Will this incredible masterpiece, which is being claimed by both companies, meet the same fate as the MR2 project? This time, companies are planning an all-new supercar, but who are these two companies? Do you want to know everything there is to know about this crazy car? Hey buddies, count on us, and stay tuned to Tech Addicts and upgrade yourself. And don't wait, let's move forward. Soon, Toyota will introduce a new mid-engine performance king, a model developed in collaboration with Suzuki that aims to provide lightweight thrills in the vein of a Lotus. When compared to the revived MR2 project, which is anticipated to be the company's first electric vehicle, this model will feature a much smaller gas engine powering the vehicle's rear wheels. According to reports originating in Japan, the new midship model will have a turbocharged 1.0-liter engine and will share its platform with the impressive Yaris. This is according to the news that has emerged from Japan, and the chassis is based on Toyota's TNGA GAB architecture, which also plays a part in the underpinnings of the GR Yaris. However, rumors have it that Suzuki supplied the engine. If that's the case, it'll most likely be a version of the brand's direct injection booster jet turbo, which, in its current iteration, generates 82 kilowatts at 5,500 RPM, 160 newton meters at 1,500 RPM, and uses only 5.2 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers when driven on a combined cycle. It is true that these outputs aren't particularly impressive. However, given that Toyota has managed to wring 200 kilowatts out of the 1.6-liter, three-cylinder engine it uses in its GR products, the outputs of the booster jet's engine have the potential to increase as well. In point of fact, earlier reports suggested that the engine would be tuned up to more like 120 kilowatts, which would fulfill the power-to-weight promise. Additionally, it is anticipated that a Suzuki 6-speed torque converter automatic transmission will be responsible for handling the gear change responsibilities. Even though Formula One drivers can get by with just two pedals and a set of paddles, drivers who prefer manual transmissions are adamant that their lives lack purpose without the use of a clutch and the occasional use of their heels to propel the car forward. However, the vast majority of buyers are content to put their car's transmissions in D for do little, and so self-shifters have become incredibly common. The FCAI estimates that more than 70% of new cars sold in Australia are automatics. When you take into account the fact that fewer than 4% of cars sold in the United States are equipped with manual gearboxes, it's honestly surprising that the figure isn't higher. It goes without saying that you won't be able to purchase a brand new Ferrari, Lamborghini, or Nissan GT-R with a manual transmission. It's not just laziness that's to blame either. Since the turn of the millennium, automatic transmissions have become more and more advanced and fuel efficient, leaving the manual option to be chosen only by purists and paupers. When you consider that you can't even buy a new Ferrari, Lamborghini, or Nissan GT-R with a manual gearbox, and even the sportiest Porsche models don't give you the option, the argument that you can't have driver involvement without a stick shift becomes thinner by the day. So, how did automobiles come to be the default option? And what is it about them that people find to be so alluring that they're willing to pay more for them? Here comes the torque converter, which is the most common type of automatic transmission, and it's available in a variety of vehicles manufactured by Mazda, which is extremely popular, as well as by Lexus, which is a more upscale Japanese brand. Traditional automobiles use torque converters to keep the drivetrain connected at all times, rather than clutches for engaging and disengaging the engine's torque from the gearbox. Automatic transmissions with torque converters have the obvious benefit of high torque even at low engine speeds. This piece of engineering is a little bit complicated, but it uses something called an impeller to move fluid around inside a sealed case. On the opposite side of the case is a turbine that is driven by the fluid, and it is this turbine that drives the gearbox. Automatic transmissions with torque converters offer the obvious benefit of high torque at low RPM, which is fantastic for quick acceleration off the line and passing slower vehicles. Both the initial acceleration and the subsequent gear changes are seamless, which is something that wasn't always the case in the jerky automobiles that were popular in the early 1980s. So how exactly does one go about shifting gears? You may be familiar with the term planetary gears, which, despite its lofty sound, simply describes a configuration in which the gears are arranged around each other in a manner analogous to how moons orbit a planet. The computer that controls the gearbox is able to alter drive ratios and provide gears that are optimal for acceleration, as well as cruising by altering which gears spin in relation to the others. Because there is no direct mechanical coupling between the input and output shafts, one of the traditional issues with torque converters was that they were essentially inefficient. However, newer designs have addressed this issue. To ensure a more effective coupling, modern torque converters with a lock-up feature incorporate a mechanical clutch into the design. Hence, the price will be a driving factor, and the brands are expected to keep costs as low as possible. It is anticipated that the pint-sized powerhouse will launch in the guises of Toyota, Suzuki, and possibly even Daihatsu, and that the price will be a factor. According to some reports, the model will have a starting price in US dollars of approximately $25,000, with the goal of recapturing the low-cost performance ethos of the first-generation Toyota 86. And now, let's take a look at the reborn MR2 project. As a company, Toyota reached a major inflection point with the MR2. Toyota wasn't the first automaker to produce a cheap sports car on a mass scale, but they were the first to achieve widespread acclaim for doing so. The tiny Toyota was an instant hit with buyers and went on to become one of the decade's most beloved vehicles. The MR2's origins can be traced back to 1976, when Toyota began a design project to create a car that would be fun to drive while still being affordable and fuel efficient. However, the project was put on hold until 1979, when Akio Yoshida began developing the new car due to the oil crisis of the 1970s. Yoshida volunteered to look into where the engine would be the most effective. The best spot, he decided, would be in the middle of the car, with the engine mounted transversely. Changes to the car started from this point onward. After rigorous testing in Japan and California, the prototype improved to the point where it could be considered a genuine sports car. Tracks like Willow Springs were used for a lot of the testing. Dan Gurney, a former Formula One driver, played a significant role in the development and testing of the Toyota MR2. Although the original concept art for the SA-X is unmistakably the first-generation MR2, the car went through many revisions before it was introduced in 1981. The Toyota SV3 concept car was unveiled in the fall of 1983, marking the next stage in the development of the MR2. It's worth noting that the SV3 concept wasn't envisioned as a sports car, but rather as a practical daily driver. Due to the SV3's overwhelming success, Toyota released the MR2 in June of 1984. It was a two-seater sports car, and the name was an abbreviation for midship runabout. Between the 88 and 89 model years, Toyota made two limited edition MR2s. Based on the turbocharged Japanese model, the Super Edition MR2s were exclusive to Japan. The MR2's handling, which was honed on the track, performed admirably in the cutthroat world of motorsport, and the MR2's been used by successful private racers all over the world, and the car has been the subject of a one-make series in both the United Kingdom and the United States. The MR2 performed admirably on asphalt tracks, but Toyota had bigger plans for it. While the front-engine rear-wheel drive Celica was unbeatable in the 1980s, it struggled on the more congested European tracks. In response, Toyota's European rally team began work on a new car, the MR2. The vehicle shared some styling cues on the exterior with the MR2, but otherwise it was very different, and eventually this class was disbanded in 1986, and when the Group S regulations fell through, the project had to be canceled. So folks, that's going to do it for today's video. We hope you liked our video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, press the bell icon, and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this.